Alright, welcome to the second tutorial on Maya, and for this class we'll be focusing on transforming objects in Maya. I'm Adisa Sleman Mustafa, your tutor throughout this AutoDesk Maya class. Let's load our Maya application. I already have my Maya loaded, and I'll continue from the previous class. Now this is our Maya application. When you say transforming object in Maya, when you want to transform objects using the move tools, the scale, and the rotate tools is what we mean by transforming object in Maya. And how do we get to do that? A simple object like this now, we might need to transform this object. What we do is that we change most of its view, and that is transforming object in Maya. Why this object is selected like this? Selecting is different from activating the moves. When you select object, there is no way the object can be moved out of this place, and then it's not being transformed because its rotations, its scale, and its translate still remain in that center point. So if I click on this now, which is the move key, you will see a gizmo. In AutoCAD we call this a gizmo. The gizmo has the Y, X, and the Z axis. This move toward the X axis, this move toward the Z axis, and this move toward the Y axis. So if I want to move toward the Y axis, I drag the object up and down. That's to move in that Y direction. If I want to move toward the Z direction, I grab the blue arrow key and I move toward the Z direction. I undo. If I want to move toward the red direction, the X, I move like this, and I can have my direction in this. And you can see that they maintain what I call they maintain the base point of our job. Are we there? So that is that about that. And then this is just a simple way on how you transform this object based on moving the object from one position to another. So if you want to move any object, the object must be selected with the select tools first, then you go to move. That is for moves. Now if I want to go to rotate, when I click on rotate, you see that the gizmo changed to rotate, and I can rotate in whichever direction I want. If I want to rotate in this direction, I grip the red directions and I rotate the object whichever way I want it. Can you get it? So that is that about that. I can grab this blue and I can rotate in this direction, and I can go back again. I can stay like this. Then I can grab the green as well, and I can grip the objects in this direction. I can see how I was able to rotate my object. The next one I can use is the scale tools. When I click on the scale tools, I have the scale grips there. Let me just move like this. If I want to scale my object in this direction, I can grab this and I can scale the object out. I can see while I'm scaling on my transformation, you can see they are different on my transformation. It said the scale of X has not increased while the scale of Y remain and the scale of Z remain. And if I want to scale Z as well as Z, I can grip this like this and I can scale. You can see the scale of Z now, and I can also scale the Y. And you can see that all the subject has been scaled out of their original 1:1 value. So that is how we do that. Let's take it back to home, and I can come back to this scale here. I can input one, and I can put one back as well, and they go back to their original stuffs. And if you want to go out of rotation as well, I can say the rotation should go back to 0, 0, 0. I can see that object is now back in their original position. The only thing is that translate has been changed. So that is how we use the three transformation tools to transform object, whether by moving it, by rotating it, or by scaling it. Now we have a keyboard shortcut in order to do that. If I want to do with my keyboard shortcut, let me load my notepad. On my notepad, I will teach you the keyboard shortcut to use. If I want to move any object, when I say the move equals the W key is to move, and then the next one we have is the rotate. The rotate equals the E key, and then we have a scale. If you want to scale your object in Maya, you use the R key. Let's try these three stuffs. Now my object is selected. Now I want to use the move. I'll just press W. It will change this stuff now. I'm pressing W on my keyboard now. I've pressed W and you can see how it's changed it. I can bring it on screen. You can see now it has changed, and you can see here now this is selected, and if I press the E key it will change to rotate, and this is selected, and if I press the R key it's going to change to the scale, and then the scale is selected. So these are the three primary tools you're going to use in moving, rotating, or perhaps scaling. So that is that about that in understanding how to use the move, the rotate, and the scale tools. And that completes the class for this. In our next video I'll be talking about other additional tools that you'll be needing, perhaps most of the visual style tools, and how to also do more extensive modification and subdivision modification to your object. Thanks for participating in these transforming object tools, object stuffs, and then we'll be seeing in the next video. Thank you.